I still shudder when I think about that fateful night. It was a rainy, stormy evening, the kind that made the world seem smaller, cocooned in the unrelenting darkness. I had just moved into a new apartment in a quiet neighborhood, hoping for a fresh start after a series of personal setbacks. The eerie glow of streetlights cast long shadows on the wet pavement as I settled in for a quiet night. Feeling the pangs of hunger, I decided to order a pizza from the nearby Domino's. The monotony of unpacking had taken its toll, and I longed for the comforting taste of a hot slice. I grabbed my phone and dialed the familiar number, listening to the distorted jingle on the other end as I placed my order. "Hello, Domino's Pizza. This is Emma speaking. How can I assist you tonight?" The voice on the other end was soft, almost too soft, as if it struggled to pierce through the static of the line. "Hi, I'd like to place an order for delivery," I said, trying to ignore the strange unease that had crept into my gut. "Of course, sir. What can I get for you?" Her voice seemed to dance between the raindrops outside, fading in and out. I placed my order and gave her my address. She confirmed the details with a hint of a tremor in her voice, making me wonder if she was new to the job. The line crackled, and I thought I heard a faint whisper before she told me my total. "Your total will be $18.49. Your delivery will be there in approximately 30 minutes. Thank you for choosing Domino's." I hung up the phone, a chill coursing through me as I tried to shake off the odd exchange. Maybe it was just the rain playing tricks on my ears. I walked to the window, peering out into the stormy night, watching the rain cascade down the glass like distorted memories. Time seemed to stretch, each minute feeling like an eternity as I waited for the delivery. The storm raged on, the wind howling against the walls of my new home. The minutes turned into an hour, and then 2. I tried to call the Domino's number again, but each time, all I got was a deafening static that echoed through the receiver. An unsettling feeling began to gnaw at me, and I couldn't shake the idea that something was wrong. I grabbed my jacket and headed out into the storm, deciding to drive to the Domino's nearby. The rain pelted against the windshield, making the road ahead a distorted blur of lights and shadows. Finally, I reached the Domino's, the fluorescent sign glowing eerily against the dark backdrop. I rushed inside, the door chiming softly as I entered. The interior was dimly lit, and the scent of pizza hung in the air. But there was something off, something that sent a shiver down my spine. The few tables were empty, and there was no sign of any customers. I approached the counter, where a lone employee stood. It was Emma, the voice on the phone. Her eyes widened as she looked at me, as if she had seen a ghost. "I'm sorry, we're closed," she stammered, her voice shaky. "I'm the one who placed the delivery order. It's been hours, and no one came." Emma's gaze shifted to the side, as if she was hiding something. "I am really sorry about that. There's been a mix-up, but we're closed now. You should go home." "No, I'm not leaving until I get an explanation," I said, my voice rising with a mixture of anger and dread. Emma's eyes darted around, and she seemed to be on the verge of tears. "Please, just go. It's not safe here." The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. Something was very wrong, and I couldn't ignore the fear in her eyes. I glanced toward the kitchen, where I saw movement. It was fleeting, a shadow shifting in the darkness. Before I could react, the lights flickered and went out. Darkness enveloped the room, and the air grew heavy with tension. My heart raced as I strained to hear any sound, any hint of movement. And then I heard a soft shuffling noise, like someone moving closer in the darkness. I reached for my phone, using its feeble flashlight to cut through the pitch-black room. The beam of light revealed empty tables, chairs upturned, and an eerie stillness that contrasted with the storm raging outside. My pulse quickened as I realized that Emma was nowhere to be seen. "Emma," I called out, my voice trembling. There was no response, only the distant rumble of thunder. With each step I took, the tension in the air grew thicker, suffocating me. I moved toward the kitchen, the flashlight's beam revealing a cracked door ajar. The shuffling sounds were louder now, and a knot formed in my stomach. I pushed the door open slowly, the creaking hinges adding to the sense of impending doom. The kitchen was in disarray, pots and pans strewn across the floor. And then I saw her Emma, huddled in a corner, her eyes wide with terror. "They're here," she whispered, her voice quivering. "Who's here? What's going on?" I asked, my voice barely audible above the storm outside. Her gaze shifted toward the shadows in the corner of the kitchen, and a chill ran down my spine. My flashlight's beam faltered for a moment, and in that instant, I saw them figures lurking in the darkness, their features distorted and contorted. I stumbled backward, the flashlight falling from my hand and rolling away. My heart pounded in my chest as I turned and fled from the kitchen, my footsteps echoing through the empty pizzeria. I burst out into the rain-soaked night, the storm now a symphony of terror. As I ran, I couldn't shake the feeling that those figures were chasing me, their presence lingering in the corners of my vision. I didn't stop until I reached my apartment, where I locked the door behind me, my breath coming in ragged gasps. That night was a blur of fear and confusion. I didn't sleep, instead sitting by the window and watching the rain pour down, wondering what I had stumbled upon in that Domino's. The memory of those distorted figures haunted me, their contorted forms etched into my mind. The next morning, the sun rose, casting a weak light over the aftermath of the storm. With trepidation, I ventured out to the Domino's, hoping to find some answers in the cold light of day. But when I arrived, the pizzeria was gone, replaced by an empty storefront. There was no trace of the events that had unfolded there, no sign that anything had ever existed. I tried to find information, to uncover the truth behind that night, but every attempt was met with dead ends and silence. It was as if the entire incident had been erased from existence, leaving only a haunting memory etched into my mind. Years have passed since that night, but the fear has never left me. The memory of those figures, the unease in Emma's eyes, and the terror that gripped me in that dark pizzeria still lingers. I've tried to move on, to forget, but the shadows of that night continue to haunt me.